Hello, this is Arlinda Christine with Lindar Insights Publishing, and today I'm going to share with you some information about my book, Diligently, which is my fourth self-published book. And Diligently was written in 2019 and actually just completely put together in 2019. So I wrote it, had it edited, created the cover, self-published it probably within 2 or 3 months in 2019. So the title of Diligently comes from Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6, the New King James Version. And it reads, "But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him." So around this time in 2019, I could think like somewhere in the Bible, it talks about, but without faith, it's impossible to please him. And I couldn't remember the rest of what it said. And when I looked up the scripture and I saw the word diligently, I knew that had to be the title of this book. On November the 5th, 2018, I had started a new teaching assignment. That day ended with me in the hospital. The next day, after being in the hospital, I had several tests that the results showed that I had had a stroke. And I had a stroke in the part of my brain that impacts speech and language. I had to go through speech therapy. It was a lot of things that I just kind of had to get assistance with. And that day kind of took me on a journey. One of the things about the cover of the book, I wanted to pull from my former classroom. So one of the things that I would do in my classroom each year, I would go on Pinterest and I would find ideas for paper flowers. So I kind of wanted that to be incorporated in the book somehow. And I had kind of shared that with the person who was creating the cover. And when I received the mock-ups back, I was like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. So then I went in on a quest in iStock Photo to find an image that I would love. So diligently, I mentioned this in my very first video, or maybe my second one. Diligently, this cover was completed in Adobe Sparks Pose and Canva, and I found the image in iStock Photo. One of the things that I love about this image, and it's going to be on the next screen, was how this image came to be. When I saw the image, I knew that was the picture for the book. I just didn't know how it was going to be the picture. And so I started flipping the picture around, and that's how I got the cover. So I saw the picture and I was like, oh, those flowers are so pretty. And while I was in the hospital, like my favorite colors have always been either a combination of red, black, and white, or silver and lavender. But in the hospital, a lot of the nurses and doctors wore blue. So by the end of my hospital stay, blue had become important to me, and I wanted to bring blue out in the book cover. So I saw this picture, and that girl, she just so cute. And I sat and I just flipped the picture around. And then I think in Adobe Sparks, not only did I flipped it at an angle, which is then how I got the cover for Diligently. So it was a little process, but it's a process that I really enjoyed doing and I'm really proud of. And so that's just a little snippet of kind of where the title comes from, Hebrews 11 and 6, diligently seeking God during a very broken time in my life where I didn't know a lot of things. I have two sons. For a couple months, they had the same name. Reading it's still somewhat of a challenge to read a lot at once. But I'm doing okay. I'm really excited about, that process of going from brokenness to joy because he rewards us when we seek him. Diligently is on sale on Amazon. Thank you for listening. Be well.